I'm throwing these videos together to provide footage for games that YouTube currently do not have any of. Those people who find these videos useful will probably be the ones that have not played these games in years and searched for it looking for a refresher. On that note, ChaosCastle probably won't be searched for. It is pretty obscure as far as Mac shareware goes. It was also available on the Amiga. This is a version that I managed to salvage off the Wayback Machine. The author's website has been down for some time, and it is as a result unregistered. This was latterly made freeware, however, I haven't been able to find a copy of the freeware version. The registration key was a literal file rather than a code or anything. Right, so how do you play this? Well, it's a bit of a mix of all sorts of things. The main wodge of levels currently depicted here plays a little bit like Asteroids. So, pilot your blue octagon around the play area and blast anything that moves. Some of them will fire back, but mostly, these are pretty simple foes. It certainly starts off very easy as you get to grips with what these little levels are all about. Blowing up enemies will result in them dropping money. This can be quite difficult to catch as they will fly off in the direction that you've shot them from. Money, in the form of dollars, can be spent on ammunition for various weapons. You're not just limited to the standard gun, but specifically $100 will allow you entry to the castle levels, which are more or less the game's main attraction. More about them later on. As you go on, the standard levels will start to feature more and more things. This drawer, for instance, is packed full of money, very useful. The large blue thing will bring more hostiles into the play area, not useful at all. And of considerable irritation is the house, which will show up if you're taking your sweet time in completing the level. Black holes fanny around with the gravity, which can make collecting money quite difficult. Projectiles from hostile sources will also go flying, so watch out for those. Anyway, $100 will get you into the castle level. This is the first one, just the entry. It's boring, but they do get better. The aim of the castle levels is to get to the exit, as well as... What am I doing here? Oh, I'm powering up a gun. Oh yes, these little items, that one there, will power up the effectiveness of various weapons. But anyway, £100 that you pick up in the castle levels will allow you access to a boss. There is a loose storyline to this game in that there's a family of aliens that have invaded. You will take them on one by one as and when you get enough money. This is a bit of a secret bit, but it don't half get you a bit of a head start with the picking up the pounds. Lying around to pick up, there is also a load of free ammo. Assign that to whichever weapon you want with the various keys. I generally don't bother. So, kill everything you come across and get to the exit. Very straightforward. The castle levels more or less represent a section of an actual castle. Apart from this one, this is the second one and I've forgotten what it's supposed to be. It's a long, tedious maze, but honest, it does get better after the second. A quick run through the sidebar there. You've got a little mini-map to show where you are, and underneath that, the lives, the various amounts of currency that you possess, and underneath that, the health bar. Getting hit by a foe or a foe's shot will not kill you instantly. Various things will harm you more than others. These flying buttocks are pretty harmless, but enemies that you find latterly are not harmless, nowhere near. They also hit each other if they shoot at you, it can be quite useful. Losing a life isn't really a problem. You get so many of them that, and you don't go back to the start of the level every time you perish. You continue exactly where you are with a full health bar. So that's handy if you want to go in Rambo style. This is Castle Level 3, the garden, where they appear to be having some foliage problems. The plants will spawn new hostiles, and areas that you leave alone and don't come till later can be quite populated and very difficult to clear out. Back to the mini stages, and every now and then you'll be presented with a mini boss. This round thing makes an awesome sound when you hit it, flies around quite fast, and generally makes a nuisance of itself. This is more or less what all the bosses are like, I think. That's a bit of an assumption because I've only been able to get as far as the unregistered version will let me. But exploding in a big cloud of money is, in my view, how everything should explode. The lake level puts you underwater, and typically with an underwater level comes an oxygen bar. When you run out of air, you go bang. I hate underwater levels. I think it was frustration at Sonic 3 that caused that. It's not a particularly difficult task to keep your oxygen levels up on this game, however, it just adds a layer of frustration that I don't enjoy. The blue things will spurt up bubbles, and they're pretty common enough. So long as you don't waste time piddling around, you'll find them and you won't have any problems at all. Not before time, we're at the exit. Quick look at the statistics screen, and we're into the next castle level. This is the 5th one, and it's where the difficulty really does take a significant step up. Nothing particularly tricky, but it's certainly a lot more fun. Now, I wouldn't liken this game to anything specific. There's a lot of games out there that have this kind of concept of flying around and shooting things, but if you can see past the game's limited graphics and tolerate the dull early levels, there's a lot of fun to be had with ChaosCastle. If you have an old Mac system, the game is available to download, albeit in its shareware form, at the Macintosh Garden. If it ever gets its hands on a freeware version of the game, that would be a joyous day indeed. You can play the freeware version of the Amiga iteration. I don't know what that's like. I'd imagine more of the same though. But, you know, cheap as free. If you have the capability to play this, it's well worth a bit of time. Not much else to say about this, so let's do a few loose ends. This is the bonus level. I think these things are supposed to be baby aliens, and they won't stay bloody still. I don't think I was able to kill any of them. Oh wait, yeah, that one there. And this is a different weapon. It's rubbish. So ultimately, ChaosCastle stayed in my mind after I'd played it as a child, I think because it was relatively varied for what kind of game it actually was. The sound effects were pretty basic, but suiting, and certainly not annoying. The controls are a bit fiddly, particularly selecting weapons and then using them is quite difficult to figure out, which is why I never used anything other than the standard one. Beyond that, however, I have no specific complaints about the game. It's a good retro experience, and it works on Sheep Shaver. Good stuff.